Hello everyone, my name is Meghan LeVota. If you are interested in self-discovery and self-growth using Carl Jung's cognitive functions and personality typology as a tool, this is the video for you. I have several videos on my channel that I go very in depth into the theory behind how this personality stuff works. But this video, I just want to give you the basics. Like if you have absolutely no idea what your personality is, I'm here to explain that to you. So pretty much, a lot of you guys probably have already heard of the test like 16 personalities or human metrics or maybe personality hacker. I'm not sure which one's the most popular one these days, but they're all online free tests that are based off of the Myers-Briggs type indicator. That is a very popular corporate personality test that's based on Carl Jung's theories of the cognitive functions. So you might have already taken a test online, but a lot of the things I talk about in my channel will sort of go more in depth into more of a self-study versus just the test, because in my opinion, there isn't really a test that has hit the nail on the head that is accurate, 10 times out of 10. Like you can still use any of the online tests, but they are only going to be as accurate as, you know yourself. And, some of them, they are just confusing in general. So yeah. But basically, there is extroversion and introversion, which is one personality dimension, feeling and thinking, which is another dimension, sensing and intuition, which is another dimension, and then judging and perceiving, which is another dimension. So those are 8 dimensions. And in the Myers-Briggs and in, the 16 personality types test, what they do is they test you on a dichotomy if you are more extroverted or if you are more introverted, and it's this spectrum. And so that's probably what you're the most familiar with now. So while the dichotomy was introduced with the Myers-Briggs as a helpful tool, it sort of took Carl Jung's original theory, which was about these 8 cognitive functions, and turned it into a spectrum. And so there are a lot of critiques out there about the dichotomies, but I'm going to be talking about these today not as a sliding scale spectrum, but just to introduce those dimensions to you. So extroversion, in Jungian terms, refers to the objective outer world, while introversion refers to the subjective inner world. Now, this is notably different from how the Big Five talks about extroversion as highly social and introversion as more shy and socially anxious and withdrawn. There might be some overlap, but the Jungian definition of extroversion and introversion is different. It has to do with objectivity in the outer world versus subjectivity in the inner world. Feeling refers to ethical value statements, whereas thinking refers to logical reasoning statements. So everybody has emotions and everybody has thoughts. I think that the words feeling and thinking, even though they're the most common and they are the ones that Carl Jung himself used, could be confusing. And so ethical value can sort of remove us from thinking about, is this person really emotional or not? Because all feelers are going to be focused on making ethical value statements. That's how their brain is judging things, whereas thinkers are using logical reasoning statements to judge things. So then we have sensing and intuition. Sensing refers to the physical facts, and intuition refers to the abstract concepts. We all use 5 senses, we all have a body, and we also all have to interpret reality by reading between the lines. And so it's just a matter of, what is your perception focused on the most? Is it focused on the physical facts surrounding you, which would be sensing, or is it focused on the abstract concepts and what your reality around you means and how you're understanding that reality? And then we have judging and perceiving, and in my opinion, this is the most confusing dimension out there, and the one that if you are looking at your result based on an online test, you might have some issue with. So the way I'm defining this is judging being open to judgments shifting, and perceiving being open to perception shifting. All this really means is if you are a judger, if you have a J as your letter, it means that your judgment, which the judging dimension is feeling and thinking, whereas the perceiving dimension is sensing and intuition. If you're a judger, all that means is that your judging is going to be extroverted. So you are going to have objective judging. And so that means you're open to your judgment shifting, because over time, objectively, the judgment that could change, and then you are going to change your judgment. You're going to change your value statement or your logical statement based on the external world around you. That's all it means. It doesn't mean that you're judgmental. It doesn't mean any of that. So a lot of times, you know, if you're new to this, you might hear about J's being more organized and P's as being more go with the flow. That can be true, but I don't think it's a defining characteristic. And so that's why, if you are open to your judgment shifting, ask yourself, am I going to change my mind more often, or am I going to change how I see the thing more often? So if you're open to your perception shifting, which means that you're a P, that means that you are gathering new physical facts or abstract concepts. Your perception is constantly updating and constantly gathering new perception. You're, gathering new perception. And, if you're open to your judgment shifting, which means you're a J, that means that you are, your statements, your judgments are going to be changing based on the scenario. So extroversion, introversion is one dimension, feeling and thinking is another, sensing and intuition is another, and then judging and perceiving is another. And so these terms do come from Carl Jung, and they are used in the Myers-Briggs personality. And there's also another personality type system that you may have heard of called socionics. That is a Russian version, not really version, but it is a Russian system that is based on Carl Jung. And so the way that I interpret this is that Carl Jung had these ideas, and then Myers-Briggs came along, hey, I'm going to make this test, I'm going to make this typology system out of your idea. And then socionics also came along and said, hey, Carl Jung, I'm going to make this typology system out of your idea. And so Myers-Briggs and socionics have a lot of parallel thought because they're inspired by the same idea. But the definitions and the way that those systems define things are different. And you're going to see that whenever you, which I do encourage self-study if you're new. And then you also have people like Dave Superpowers, who went out and defined his own terms. And then you, so you have people in the community that have defined their own terms, but we're all kind of talking about the same things, which are these dimensions. And so to define, once you know the gist of extroversion, introversion, feeling, thinking, sensing and intuition, judging and perceiving, once you know the gist of that, which I would recommend just really diving into judging and perceiving last. I think that it's the most confusing one, and it will only make sense once you really get down the other ones. Because if you think about it, in order to know if your judgment is shifting, you're going to have to really know, what is my judgment? Is it ethical value statements, or is it logical reasoning statements? And in order to really understand your perception, you're going to have to know if you're more focused on physical facts or abstract concepts. So, these are the dimensions. Most of what I talk about on my channel is cognitive functions. So the gist of that is that they're feeling, thinking, sensing, and intuition are functions. And those functions, those four functions, can be oriented in either an extroverted or introverted way. And so if you do the math, that means that there are 8 functions. There is introverted feeling and extroverted feeling, introverted thinking and extroverted thinking, introverted sensing and extroverted sensing, introverted intuition and extroverted intuition. And so the Myers-Briggs and the 16 personality types and any test you might have taken online, it's really a shortcut using the dimensions to guess at what your cognitive functions are. And Carl Jung is the one that came up with the cognitive functions. Carl Jung did not put them on a spectrum. And so I think the spectrum, it exists. I mean, you can test based on asking yourself, do I use more ethical value statements or do I use more logical reasoning statements? You can't ask that question, but really, in my opinion, the only use of those tests is to try and discern what cognitive functions you use and value. And so I can do another intro video about the cognitive functions. Comment below if you'd like to see that. This is just if you have absolutely no idea what your type is and you just want to know what the hell I'm talking about, hopefully this video has confirmed some things. So just right off the bat, what do you think you are? Because what I will say is that really, in my opinion, these personality dimensions are amazing tools for self-study and amazing tools for self-awareness and self-growth. And in order, I understand what the dimensions are, but if I don't know you, I can't tell you what you are. You know what I mean? Like, all I can see is what you're presenting to me, and I can make guesses based on patterns I've seen and how I understand the functions. But really, understanding your personality is an exercise of understanding who you are, what your identity is, and understanding your personality type. It's going to really, if you want to go down this journey, it's going to really make you think about who am I, what are my preferences, how do I naturally think, how do I naturally perceive, and it can demonstrate your biggest strengths and your biggest weaknesses. And that's what my channel really is for, is to share my insights along the way and tools for you. And so if you want help in understanding who you are or anything, if you need help with this journey, please subscribe. And feel free to reach out to me at hello at meghanlevota.com, my email. If I have any offerings, they are going to all be linked below. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or any business inquiries. I am excited for you. This is not a quick fix to solve all your problems, and personality typology is not a way to put everyone in a box. It is a way to start critically thinking and assessing who you are. And these tools can help you do that. And best of luck to you. And I have lots of videos on my channel about all the cognitive functions, and I am excited to see how your journey goes. Thank you for stopping by.